1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Good morning, guys.
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys. I'm James Hake of the Hake Report, and we are fixing my background stream. Thank you, Joel. Appreciate it. It is Tuesday, July 9th, 2019. 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'm live now every morning, Monday through Friday and Sunday. 9 a.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday on Jesse's channel. Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate it. The Jesse Lee Peterson Show. 4th hour of the video stream. And I believe that the audio stream is working on jlptalk.com. I was told by one listener that there was trouble yesterday, but I was listening today and it sounded pretty good. So thank you for the heads up on that. But you can only catch the audio on jlptalk.com. And make sure you keep up with that website, guys, because that's where we have stuff in case of being censored, at least our videos being censored, because Jesse Lee Peterson says, I cannot be censored. So he's not being censored, but his videos are being censored on Facebook, Twitch, sometimes on YouTube, and other places maybe. We'll see. But I forgot to read some of my super chats from Sunday. I have my Sunday show on my channels. Go to thehakereport.com and find them. I am also on BitChute, by the way, as well as Jesse. Jesse's on BitChute. BitChute.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Also /The Fallen State TV. Also /Rebuilding the Man. And for me, it's /The Hake Report. BitChute.com/The Hake Report. But I forgot to read my super chats and D Live shout outs on Sunday. So I wanted to give Jimmy Morgan appreciation for the last super chat that I didn't get to, a Bible verse. Here is what he said. Yet a little while, and the world seeth me no more. But ye see me, because I live, ye shall live also. At that day ye shall know that I am in my Father, and ye in me, and I in you. That's from John 14:19 through 20. Thank you, Jimmy Morgan. Very nice verse. That's Jesus talking. Also, a D-Live shout-outs to Jimmy DM, Noah's Ark Kansas, and Tex-Mex, top contributors on Sunday. Thank you. And Obadiah, Ridge Tech, and Alincy. Thank you. Man, that's cool. So I was reading to you guys yesterday about the Constitution. Well, actually, reading from the Constitution. Article 1, sections 1 through 8 or so. And I skipped some sections. But I wanted to read a little bit more because I was peeking through it. Happy White History Month, by the way. This is why I was reading the Constitution. Yesterday I was reading and I got that from ushistory.org, and this Article 1 from the Constitution is about the Congress, and I mentioned how they changed the way that they elect senators. No longer are senators chosen by the state legislatures. Now they're chosen by the people, which makes them no different from the representatives. It's dumb. But anyways, I was reading from Section 8. It was making me mad, to be honest, because the government has strayed so far from what they're supposed to be doing. Here is like more on Section 8 of Article 1 of the Constitution, which is about the role of Congress. These are stuff that I didn't get to yesterday. To establish post offices and post roads, to promote the progress of science and useful arts, keyword useful arts, by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries, to constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, to define and punish piracies and felonies committed on the high seas and offenses against the law of nations, to declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, whatever that means, and make rules concerning captures on land and water, to raise and support armies, but no appropriation money to that shall be for a longer term than 2 years. So that's why they have to come up with a new military budget every 2 years. To provide and maintain a navy to make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces, to provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections and repel invasions. Hello, illegal aliens. Please stop the illegal alien invasion of fake refugees. The president's the only one being constitutional, huh? To provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, and for the government, and for governing such part of the militia, not the whole militia, as may be employed to the United States to the service of the United States. And note that means that the militia can be, there's parts of the militia that can be completely independent of the government, just like most of the militia that you see around today is. Reserving to the states respectively the appointment of the officers and the authority and training of the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress. To make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers and all the powers vested in this Constitution in the government of the United States or for any department or officer thereof. I'm going cross-eyed reading this. But here's this part. Section 9. In Section 9 it says, no capitation or other direct tax shall be laid unless in proportion to the census or enumeration herein before directed to be taken. And that's the end of the constitutional excerpts. But that was changed, that last part was changed by the 16th Amendment because the 16th Amendment started income tax. Income tax we did not have, Lincoln started it and then stopped it during the Civil War, I heard. But the 16th Amendment was in 1913, and it said the Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived, without apportionment among the several states and without regard to any census or enumeration. Crazy. And that was added February 3rd, 1913. I hate all of the amendments except for the first 10, the Bill of Rights. Everything else contributed to the destruction or self-destruction of the United States, especially those after 1900, it seems like. Maybe the 14th, what was the 14th Amendment or something like? Oh, the 14th Amendment is the one that's abused to give anchor babies, I'll read this stuff to you guys later, to give anchor babies birthright citizenship, but that's not what it was meant for. It was meant to let the former slaves be considered American citizens. And then I think the 13th Amendment freed the slaves or something. That's all right. But all the rest of them, crap. Just terrible stuff. So we've been on a downward slide for over 100 years. That's nasty. Talk about the decline of white history. Shameful. Let me get to some callers. Before I get to more, I wanted to talk about yesterday's caller, Charlie from Philadelphia, who complained to me about something Jesse said, and then he started complaining about what I was saying that I was saying stuff that I wasn't saying. And I have some more stuff about the Hake news that I was reading at the beginning of each of Jesse's hours today, because there's some interesting news items about Tommy Robinson, that former Marine, which is a woman, Democrat, running against Mitch McConnell. I'm not that big of a fan of Mitch McConnell, but he's behaved a lot better since Trump came to office, I noticed. That was nice. And then Pelosi's talking about Trump making America white again. And then it was funny about Trump's hygiene habits and germaphobe stuff. But anyways, Justin out of Virginia. Justin, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Nice to hear from you.
Nice to hear from you. I don't know if you'll be able to answer this question. I was talking to Jesse earlier, and I meant to ask him because we were talking about is Jesus God or not.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember your call.
And in that video, he made a claim that God created Jesus.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get your thoughts on that and see if you could enlighten me so I can understand that better.
So Jesus is the Son of God. He's the firstborn over all creation. That's what that means. I don't know if he said that he created Jesus, but that's basically, I guess that's what that means.
That's what I was thinking you would think, because I know Jesus made a comment. I'm not a big Bible thumper, but I know the Bible a little bit, and he was talking, and he said that before Abraham was born, he was. You know, so
Yeah.
he's been here since the beginning of time.
Right.
So I just wanted to clarify and make sure that y'all weren't trying to say that he created Jesus like 2,000 years later or something like that.
No. I mean, he
Okay.
created the body that Jesus was in.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But Jesus was with God in the beginning.
Makes
Is
sense.
that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. That makes
Okay,
sense.
I think so too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I just wanted to get that clarified. I meant to ask Jesse. I'm sorry, but I had to ask you. It was
No
his
problem.
word.
I can try to help.
Oh, I appreciate it, man.
Nice to hear from you, Justin.
You too, and look forward to talk to you again.
Yeah, happy White History Month to you.
You as well. Have a good one.
All right, bye. Let me get to more callers before I get to this. Joe out of Phoenix, Arizona. How are you doing?
Hey, James, how are you?
Fine. How about you?
Doing well.
Good.
So, buddy, you said nothing past the 10th Amendment was a good thing. Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, I said that, and then I'm like, especially the stuff after 1900. And then I was like, I see your question. Like you're talking about the 13th. I think that's the one that freed the slaves. I'm like, yeah, that's all right. I'm like, that's all right, but
Just all right, though, huh?
I'm fine with it. I'm totally fine with it. I'm glad that there's no slavery in America, I guess. I mean, other than the people that are incarcerated, those people should be slaves. They should be doing slave labor. That'd be good for
Well,
them.
how about the amendment that gave women the right to vote? You're not okay with that either?
The thing is that it's just kiss up. Like, why did they want the right to vote? Why did they have to change it 200 years, or maybe less than 200 years, but 150 years later? Why did they have to change it? Because what were they so upset about? Who did they want to vote for? You know, think about it how it was during those times. Who did they want to vote for that they didn't like the men voting? Have you ever
I
wondered
don't
that?
think it was about that. Isn't voting just a fundamental civil right that a person should have regardless of gender?
I don't know. It wasn't thought of that way at the beginning.
Well, of course.
But
not.
how come you don't? But how come you answer my question? What did they want to vote for that they were unhappy with the way that the men were voting?
Again, I don't think it was about that, James. It was about, hey,
Yeah,
listen,
it was about
I
that.
shouldn't be denied the right to vote just because of my gender.
Yeah, it was
they didn't
about
choose
that.
To be born female.
Joe,
right?
it was about that because look at how differently men versus women vote. Women vote liberal,
I think
men vote
that's
conservative.
a huge generalization. White women are the reason why Trump, well, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons why Trump won.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you, white women.
Yeah.
But
there you go.
but in general, women vote liberal, and men vote conservative.
Depends.
There's some decent women who vote conservative, and there's a whole lot of beta male men who vote liberal.
But again,
and there's a
regardless,
whole lot
James,
of men who vote rhino, which
right
you know,
should not be
guilty as
dependent
charged.
upon your gender. Period.
But you're making up a right because it was 100 years, 150 years or so before they got that so-called
Yeah.
right. Didn't you notice that?
Right? Of course.
Yeah.
There's plenty of protests before that, but of course.
And you
not to
notice
mention-
that women tend to be liberal.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We'll disagree on that. Do you drink alcohol?
But that's a fact.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
don't know
fact.
if that's a fact.
Yeah.
Do you drink alcohol?
Occasionally.
Okay. So then you would have to support the amendment that ended prohibition too, wouldn't you?
No, actually, because prohibition was an amendment. Prohibition itself was an amendment.
Right, and then they had to pass another amendment to repeal it.
Yeah, so they should have just left it alone. I don't know, but I don't know that it was such a good thing that they allowed, alcohol, because look at how people are abusing alcohol. Now they're trying to do this.
Drink,
Now they're
so.
trying to add on to the problem with weed.
Yeah,
And
I don't
so it's
drink,
just
so
adding more and
I
more
would agree
vices.
with you on that. The point I'm making out, James, that you didn't really think it through when you said nothing past the 10th Amendment was good. That's all.
But you haven't told me anything other than I mentioned the slaves being freed. That's cool. But
Yeah, and women should be able to vote. You drink alcohol, so you should be happy about the amendment repealing the prohibition.
because drinking alcohol is not a positive thing in anybody's
But you
life.
do
It's
it.
just a I know, but it's not anything that's positive. There's nothing good about it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I support the 21st Amendment.
Okay. All right, man. Let's get some more callers. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Joe. I think he's kind of liberal. So let me get to this stuff. Speaking of callers that are kooky, I was thinking about yesterday's caller, Charlie from Philadelphia, who complained about Jesse's answer to a black caller, another black caller, claiming that whites committed genocide against the Indians, that whites killed the Indians, just came here and killed the Indians. He said, I learned about white accomplishments. I learned about white history because he didn't want to celebrate White History Month. So he's learned about white accomplishments, and then the first thing he goes to is a negative thing about white people, that they killed the Indians, supposedly. And so Jesse simplified what happened, saying that we whites went to war with the Indians, not we, but because I wasn't alive at that point. But whites and Indians went to war with each other, and whites won. Whites won out. And there were also times where whites bought the land from the Indians and stuff like that. So this other caller, Charlie, calls in and gets mad because of Jesse's just simple answer, because Jesse's not interested in that. So it wasn't even inaccurate what he said, but this guy wanted more nuance. In other words, like, that's a liberal word. In other words, he wanted Jesse to waste a whole bunch of time learning and discussing a bunch of boring stuff rather than get to the point of blacks need to be contribute and celebrate to White History Month, rather than take sides with the supposed Indians. So it's funny, too, because whites like me, because I'm more like intellectual, not a good thing, get sucked into those arguments and empty knowledge and stuff, but not Jesse. He black. Also, that guy, Charlie, falsely stated that Jesse said, and I said all Indians were warlike. That's how I knew he was a liberal. Or all black slave owners were harsher on their slaves than white slave owners. Directly contradicting what I just said, too. That was baffling. Apparently, he didn't read my shirt, because yesterday I had a not all, but most t-shirt. Or in Jesse's word, that's amazing. Intellectuals are so blind. People who are into knowledge, we get puffed up, arrogant, judging everybody else, but blind to ourselves. And that guy admitted, Charlie did, that he's part liberal. So cut him some slack, but it was just an interesting note about him. And then I have some comments about this Hake News stuff. But first, let me get to Sean, first-time caller out of Plano, Texas. How are you doing?
Hey, James. How you doing, man?
Doing fine, thank you. Happy White History Month to you.
Happy White History Month to you. And I'm not laughing about it because I kind of think it's a serious thing.
I do, too. I like how it's heartwarming. It's motivated from love. It's not a mockery. It's not a, when they call it, it's not a joke. It's serious.
No.
Because whites are under attack.
When I first heard it, when Jesse said it, I was laughing. Because I was like, that's amazing. I love that,
Yeah.
And then I thought about it for a while, and I said, that's pretty serious stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was just hilarious. Oh, and by the way, I met you at the Bond anniversary.
Oh, the men's conference, the 10th annual men's conference. I met you. Nice.
Yes, and I had a blast, and I'm planning on doing it annually.
Right on, man. Looking forward to seeing you every year.
I'm going to come and see you guys every year.
Cool. That is nice.
Yeah, man. But you were talking about the women voting and amendments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you're right about women voting liberal. And I don't know about that other caller you had who said, well, I don't notice that. And I was like, I noticed that right away.
For somebody who's into facts and knowledge the way he is, it's funny that he would deny knowledge of that.
Yeah, exactly. It's that liberal mind. I don't understand it. I have a brother that lives in Austin that's just like that.
Yeah.
And he's just, he's all in the homosexuality and everything's fine and just do what you love. If it feels right, do it.
Yeah.
You know, and he just doesn't realize that that's the devil creeping into your head.
Yeah, that's not love. That's not real love. That's fake liberal love for everything evil and hatred for anything good. That's why they institute all these hate speech stuff. They call that hate speech, but it's really love. What's being called hate speech is really love and truth.
Fully, but I just don't understand how other people can't wake up and see it. You know, it's clear as the nose on my face.
I know how you feel. Yep. But I guess you can relate to it because like there are things that we just don't get in our own lives that we know that we should know better. Maybe I don't know, but and you can relate to it in that way where it's just a blindness. They really can't.
It is.
You can't shake them and wake them up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't understand it. You know, it's like before when I first was waking up, I was like, man, how am I going to try to get my brother saved? You know, I really want this guy to get saved. And then I heard Jesse saying, you're going to mess yourself up if you try to fix him. It's his job to find God. You come to the Father on your own.
Right.
You know, and it totally makes sense.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I remember when I was in like high school, junior high, whatever, being raised Christian, I was so concerned. I wanted my friends to go to heaven. Meanwhile, I should have been considering myself.
Exactly.
Because I was becoming more and more lost the more crazy I got about everything. And I started becoming more and more serious about Christianity, but even as I became more and more of an adult, it became just like the world. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like with these people, like just plain common sense just went right out the window.
Yeah.
You know? Like, what happened to these people? Don't they have their own minds to think for themselves? It's just everything's what they hear from all their silly friends.
Yeah.
You know? It's ridiculous. But hey, and I notice over the years it's gotten worse.
Yeah, it has. Because I've noticed, I noticed too, I was talking about this caller who made an excuse for the black out-of-wedlock births by saying that blacks are a smaller population, as if that has anything to do with anything. And in that sense, I can blame not just the parents, but the education system. The education system seems like it's purposely pathetic, especially for these poorer people. And so no wonder they're Democrats, because they can't really even comprehend the crisis right before their eyes that they're even living in. Because the family crisis is a crisis. And
you got that right.
Yeah.
Wow. And another thing about the voting for women is, I do agree that it's modern day. Of course, men and women can vote.
Yeah.
But women vote Democrat. And when you were talking about, well, there was you were telling that guy that there are things in place, and that was what the women were voting on. They wanted to vote for themselves, so they wanted to vote in all this silliness and liberalism.
Yeah.
At the time, 100 years ago, and now it's the same thing, but a million times worse.
Yeah. One of my producers is saying that they only vote Republican if a man has influenced them to do so, like a father figure or a husband.
Well, my wife votes Republican, but
right.
She grew up in a conservative family, and so do I. So,
yeah. They said...
Days,
yeah, go for it.
Oh, in my younger days, I was a big time. I didn't know I was a liberal, but I didn't realize it because I was messed up on drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with these people is the doctors are telling them they need a medication or a pill or to make them feel better instead of just dealing with life on life's terms. Pretty much let go, let God. He's in the driver's seat. You're not.
Literally, nobody is looking out for your best interests as far as these authorities and experts. Nobody. That's why I don't believe in this all this vaccination push that you see on CNN and stuff like that, and this
It's
propaganda
garbage.
about anti-vaxxers. And I know that some of the anti-vaxxers are a little nutty, but I know that some of these pro-vaxxers are nutty too. They're liars. They're not good people.
Oh yeah, they're all liars and devils. Like when I hear something like a Kamala Harris, or I put the TV on and I see Beta O'Rourke.
Yeah.
Robert Francis, as that guy was saying, which it is, but I can't believe it. And my brother actually gave money to that clown's campaign. I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you that crazy? Were you going to give that fool money?
Especially to a loser, knowing that he would lose, because Beto O'Rourke is a loser, sadly. Well, I don't know. It's not sad, but yeah.
I watched all the footage of, the Steven Crowder and all the people from, going on and talking to the people at these people's rallies. And it's scary how screwed up these people are.
Yep. But we're changing minds and we're changing hearts, or God is changing the hearts, I guess. So
that's right, and I
nice.
notice more and more people are waking up.
Yep. Cool,
and
Sean.
I love it. It's great.
Me too, man. I'll look forward to seeing you next men's conference for next Father's Day weekend.
Next men's conference, I am there because I went to L.A. and I had a blast out there, and I met all you guys, and I had a blast.
Right on.
So I was like, I'm going to make that an annual thing, man. So I'll be out there next year.
Cool. Thank you, Sean. Take care, man.
Hey, take it easy, James. All right, man.
All
Happy
right.
White History Month.
You as well. Happy White History Month.
All right.
Very nice.
All right, bye.
Bye. I liked Jesse's question where he was asking, do you celebrate White History or wish people Happy White History Month in your own life? And I'm like, no. And then Joel's like, no. And then he's been wishing everybody Happy White History Month. That's pretty bold. That's nice. So I wonder if anybody else is out there spreading the love for white people out in the real life land. That'd be nice to hear. Before I get to Eric out of Toronto, I want to briefly read about this woman, this former Marine who's launching a Democrat challenge to Mitch McConnell. And it's a woman that I got this from Drudge. And I'll show you something from her. But at first I didn't catch on that it's a Democrat challenge. So I was thinking, oh, it's probably a rhino. Or maybe hopefully it's not a rhino. But no, it's a Democrat. So this woman, Amy McGrath out of Kentucky, is a Democrat woman, a former Marine. And she looks like she would have been a former Marine. You know what I mean? Like short hair, tough looking, almost masculine looking. Well, she is married to a Republican, and evidently this Republican man has not influenced her to become a Republican. She is a Democrat. This Lieutenant Commander Eric Henderson is her husband, now retired. Lifelong Republican. And he couldn't vote for her. Man, it's such a shame. The state of marriage and everything, it's so sad. Well, this woman, she posted on Instagram, and I have the Instagram post. She posted a picture of her children and these, cute kids. But she's running for office with these little kids. Shameful. She should be at home with them. But not only that, she said, this is from back in June, Happy Pride from George and Ellie. By the way, I didn't go hunting for her Instagram. It's linked from her campaign page. And so I clicked on it, and there that picture was. So Happy Pride from George and Ellie, and she bought them rainbow-flavored ice cream. I wonder, I don't think Joelle's too happy about rainbow sherbet being taken over by the gays. But anyways, said, had a great time at Lexington Pride, hashtag Lexington Pride. Shameful. She's promoting, she's acting like the gays should be proud of being gay, homosexuals. They shouldn't be proud of that. They should be ashamed of it, quiet and try to overcome it. But no, she doesn't love gays because she wants them to accept being wrong. And then she wants her children to accept being wrong. Taking her kids to a pride parade. I guess Lexington, Kentucky is maybe not as vulgar as some of the pride parades around here. in L.A., but still, it's nasty. It's terrible. So I just wanted to point that out. Speaking of all that stuff, that's why I say none of the ones after 1900, none of the amendments after 1900 are good, pretty much. But anyways, let me get back to Eric before I get to some more news items. Eric out of Toronto, first-time caller. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing over there?
Doing fine, thank you.
That's good. First of all, before I start, I want to say I really enjoy you guys' show. I enjoy having an intellectual conversation, having a great debate.
Nice.
And I really appreciate you guys, and thank you for having me once again. Now, I have two questions. Two questions.
Okay.
First, I want to start with the White History Month. I mean, I personally don't have anything against it, but I feel that you guys are saying it in a mockery against black folks.
No, man, I'm definitely not saying it in a mockery against black people. Although I do think that Black History Month is a mockery. It's a shame. It's promoted by victimhood and people that want to be or think of themselves as separate from normal America, and stuff like that.
Why do you feel that way? Why do you feel that Black History Month is a mockery to the rest of the world?
You'll notice that the stuff that they promote, I mean, it reminds me of, I kind of mix it up with Kwanzaa, to be honest. Kwanzaa is worse of a joke, but I think we would agree on that if you knew about Kwanzaa. I don't know. But anyways.
No, go ahead.
So they promote people that are like communists. W.E.B. Du Bois. The blacks don't support good blacks. They don't support Jesse Lee Peterson. They don't support Justice Clarence Thomas. They don't support even Ben Carson anymore. And so it's a shame.
I mean, they don't just support Jesse Lee because Jesse Lee does not even embrace his own race. So
yeah, he does.
Why should they support him?
Of course he does.
He's always speaking a negative against black women, and his mother's black. That makes no sense.
It makes a lot of sense because he's speaking to correct them, to correct the issue, because nobody else is.
But the thing is, sorry, go ahead.
Because nobody else is pointing out the problem. Everybody else is either too scared to, or else they're doing it out of anger, or else, or else they get shut down for telling the truth because blacks don't love other blacks. They're just like this woman who's celebrating Gay Pride Parade that I talked about, this white woman. She's celebrating Gay Pride Parade. She doesn't love gays because she's supporting the worst in gays. So blacks support the worst in blacks. That's why they don't support Jesse, because Jesse supports the best in blacks. Does that make sense?
Say as well, I believe you guys are Christians, right?
Yeah, but did that make sense about why he tells the truth about black women and everything else?
I mean, I think it's not good to generalize because black people is more than just America. It's globally, and I'm not I don't live in America, but I've lived in multiple places. I live in France. I'm originally from Congo, Africa.
All right.
So I lived there. I lived in Paris, France. I lived even in the Middle East in a country called Oman. So but it's not ideal to make a generalization on how black women are based on the demographic that he's located in.
But he's not talking about worldwide. I mean, he grants that there are African people that come here that are different from the regular black Americans who've been born here or have generations here.
He needs to say perhaps, which is still to me generalizing.
But listen.
Black Americans, but not black folk, because that's globally.
Generalizations are very useful and good. Generalizations are good. Generalizations don't mean all. It just means generally it's true. It means there's a big problem of this happening among the black people, and the black people, nobody else is talking about it because everybody else wants to kiss up to the worst in black people.
It is fair to say that there is a big problem within all races, not just black people.
But it's the worst amongst the blacks, especially with this out-of-wedlock birth thing. yes, it's growing amongst all races, but why is it so painful for him to point out that that blacks are doing it? Blacks are identifying. The problem with blacks is they're identifying with their blackness instead of with what's right. And so when you point out something that's wrong with them, they want to identify with the blackness, but then they want to make excuses for the wrong stuff that they're doing. And then they want to point to other people because identifying with blackness rather than with what's right. And you'll notice that when Jesse's talking with people on a spiritual level, like forgiving the parents and everything like that, anger, that's something that all races can relate to. Why not identify with the spirit rather than the race? Especially the worst. You're identifying with the worst behaved parts of the race.
Well, see, that's another topic I wanted to. Good thing you brought it up.
All right.
Now Jesse keeps speaking about, because he's Christian, as he claims. He keeps speaking about, anger and whatnot. But in order for, if you're a Christian, that means you're a believer of Christ.
Yep.
Do you agree with me?
Yes.
You believe in Jesus Christ. So that means that in order for you to believe in Jesus Christ, you have to keep his word, meaning the Bible. You have to read that book. Do you agree with me so far or no?
Yeah, it helps to read it.
I mean, that's what, because he validated it. When he walked this earth, he validated what all the prophets had said, because the prophets were speaking about him.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, when he came, he spoke, because he kept quoting what the prophets said in the Old Testament.
He did now and then. He did quote them now and then. He referenced what they said now and then. A lot of stuff he said was his own words, though. You'll notice.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, no, it was. Well, it wasn't his own words, but it was from the Father, right? Because he said, "I speak nothing but from what the Father tells me." But he spoke with authority in a way that no other person spoke. He didn't speak like all the Bible quoting. He didn't speak like all the. Well, I call it Bible quoting, but Torah quoting. Book of the Law quoting Pharisees and scribes and teachers of the law. He didn't talk like them. He talked with authority. He spoke with authority.
Because rightfully so, he has all the authority. Absolutely. But now I say that to say this.
But how is that different from Jesse? Jesse does the same thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to make my point.
All right.
I say that to say this. In order for you to, because he says that he's born again. In order for somebody to be born again, quote unquote.
Are you a Christian?
First of, yes, I'm a Christian.
Okay.
But I'm deeper than what he claims. The reason why is because you have to keep the law. You have to keep the law of God. If you do not keep the law of God, you cannot say that you're born again.
You're making my eyes glaze over.
Huh?
You're making my eyes glaze over.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like when you're talking, when you start saying this stuff, like you have to keep the law. Like I don't know what specifically you're talking about, or if you're trying to get at that.
The law
or
is
if you're trying to, I don't know if you're trying to subtly, like backhandedly accuse Jesse of not keeping the law, or what. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's not. The first time I saw Jesse, he had his beard shaved. You can't do that. That's against the God's law. You can't cut your beard.
And that's deep to you,
He says he goes to church on Sunday. That's not the Sabbath. The Sabbath is Saturday.
Man.
It's sundown Friday to sundown Saturday. That's the Sabbath.
Do you sin?
So that's how I know he's not keeping the law.
Do you sin?
Of course I sin.
Then you don't keep the law. What you talking about?
The point, no.
Yes.
Understand it. The reason, what did Jesus say? Jesus said, believe me, all have sinned.
Yeah.
All have sinned.
Yep.
The difference between
and then he said, go and sin no more.
Is that me, I acknowledge my sin, and I repent daily because I have to.
If you repent daily, then you stop sinning. Repenting means stop sinning. No, that's not biblical. I thought you believed the Bible. The Bible says you stop sinning.
You can't. You will always. Let me tell you something.
That's not from the Bible. What you're saying is not biblical.
No. Watch this. I'm a proof to you that we're gonna sin regardless. Jesus said, the moment you look at a woman lustfully, you already slept with her. You're gonna tell me that everybody has from time to time looked at a woman lustfully. You will never be 100% perfect because we're still in our corruptible bodies. We don't have the new body yet.
Eric,
we don't
man,
have the glorified body.
Eric, this is you're believing something that's like you're calling stuff sin that may not be sin, and you're I don't know, you're directly contradicting the Bible that you pretend to believe in.
No, really.
And then you're judging Jesse, and you sin.
Of course. But what I'm trying to show you.
And then you're acting like you're self-righteous because you think that you admit your sin, and you're pretending like Jesse doesn't check himself when every day he checks himself and he tells other people to know themselves. And then he repented, and you repented, but you still sin.
No. The point I'm trying to show you is that Jesse keeps judging people and is condescending towards people.
Oh, come on!
He keeps telling them what to do and trying to lead them, but he doesn't even have the answer. He doesn't even know the way.
I gotta go, man. I gotta go. You should call in and talk to him about this.
I should.
Yeah.
I should.
All right, man. I cracked. Going through puberty.
No problem.
I appreciate the call. Thanks, man. Take care. Donald, first-time caller out of Fort Worth, Texas. Thanks for holding, man. Donald.
Yes, sir.
Hey. Stay close to your phone.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you going through all that, I don't know, Christian talk to get to.
Yeah.
That guy seemed a little judgmental.
Yeah.
But I guess I was waiting through. I was trying to get back to the whole past 10 Amendment thing.
Yeah.
With you.
Okay.
I thought you touched on something really good. I mean, I don't believe that the founders wanted anything on top of that. I mean, all men created equal. I mean, slavery, as bad as it was kind of a free trade thing.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I guess it was acceptable, but we moved past that, and I agree with you when you say that.
Yeah.
But as far as women voting and everything else, I mean, you just have to own 40 acres of land in order to vote.
Yeah. He used to be male landowners.
Go back to that because our generation, especially, has lost what it means to have responsibility.
Yep.
To understand how things work in order to vote properly.
Yeah.
And you know, even my grandmother and older generations, they're always against women being in politics. And you know, I mean, I'd have to agree with you on that. It's just sad that people don't even understand the first 10, and I don't know, I guess I'm glad that you're going through that in White History Month and teaching our history again, because a lot of people don't understand it.
Right.
You know, they always scream racism or sexism, you know, what Jesse says, but
communist stuff,
that's great,
propaganda.
Man. I'm very happy to hear all this stuff. I listen to your show a lot lately.
Thank you, man.
After Jesse's, and congratulations for getting your 5 days, man.
Thank
6
you.
days.
Yeah, this is cool.
And,
I'm glad to be able to talk to you guys. It's fun.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, just keep up the good fight, man. God bless you.
All right, thank you. You too, Donald. Take care. Happy White History Month.
Happy White History Month. Yes, sir.
Bye. Yeah, he's right. It used to be white male landowners could vote. And now all the people that don't own land, and they've made it so that millennials can barely even buy property. Or we can, but most of us don't have the wherewithal to do it. And then the Zoomers too. And many millennials don't even think about owning land. They just think that they're going to rent their whole lives. And that's the fault of their parents, themselves, and then all the other institutions that people falsely trusted in. Education, all that junk. Education is so dumb. People go into debt and then have no skills to speak of, and then they're indoctrinated into liberalism. And it's a mess. It's shameful. Let me get to Bernard out of Montgomery, Alabama. First-time caller. Bernard, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Going fine.
I did want to talk about religion, but you keep saying what it is, white. What it is?
Yeah, well, happy White History Month, Bernard.
Oh, okay.
Had you heard about it?
Yeah. I hate watch Jesse Lee Peterson a lot. You know, I just like to look at him and like really shake my head. You know, at these times. You know, you like to watch something that you really don't like, but you still watch it.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you're a hate watcher.
Right.
All right.
But just to comment on that, y'all, the 4th of July, it's not really anything I like to celebrate anyway. You know.
So whites can have it.
Like, no, I don't. Frederick Douglass was the 4th of July to a slave. You know. So
it was great. It was great for them too.
I kind of doubt it, but we could agree to disagree. But you know.
I mean, who knows? But, who cares? You guys you get to. Are you descended from slaves?
I don't know. I don't believe in sending in my DNA because no.
I don't blame you. Yeah, but the thing is, like, blacks get to be born here. A whole lot of descendants of slaves get to be born here. They should be grateful to their slaves ancestors who went through that they could be born in the greatest country on earth. That's what Jesse says, and it's a good point.
Wow. I kind of regret that you wasn't a black slave or something. Sounds like kind of jealous.
No, I'm not jealous.
I don't know, man. I think you have to walk through some people's shoes to really have that type of feeling, because you know.
But there's no walking in slave shoes today unless you want to go to prison and do like road work.
Exactly. Nobody wants to do any of that.
Yeah.
So I don't think a slave life could be really.
Did you walk in their shoes?
Really have to live it. For what I heard, I don't think it was all that good though. But
I know, but there's a whole lot of playing up of how bad it was and over dramatization. I don't believe it.
No, I mean I don't say that. I'm just
widespread like that.
People are the race to minimize what their heritage.
I'm not trying to minimize it. I'm just trying to bring it back. I'm not trying to minimize. I'm just trying to bring it back to reality, because they just play it up how cruel these slave owners were, and you just don't know how bad it actually was.
What channel was that on? I don't really hear it.
Django, 12 Years a Slave, all kinds of propaganda.
Hollywood does do that a lot. You know, you don't see too many.
I mean, it's interesting to see. Oh wow, they could have possibly done that.
I kind of agree with you on that one. Yeah, they do. Yeah, Hollywood dramatizes black folks a lot.
Yeah,
we trying to fix that.
Right on. Anyways, what was your question? You called in about something else.
Y'all paying Justin Peterson billions of dollars because that guy is. Is he for real? He couldn't be a real person. Is he
no, he's he's 100. He's realer than anybody that you've ever met.
Are you sure? Because sometimes he have glitches where he gets to slur his word even worse, like his battery's going low or something. Because that guy.
No, he was born with a cleft palate. He was born with a cleft palate. Okay, two things. He was born with a cleft palate, and then he barely finished high school. So his wisdom is natural. Direct from God,
like bricks or something.
And from
a commentator for black people, because he really doesn't speak for us.
He speaks for the people who.
I don't think he speaks for white people.
He speaks the truth. I don't know how you can speak for other people, but he speaks the truth, and he speaks for. I guess he's a spokesman from God.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's all I had. You have a good day and enjoy your whatever.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Happy White History Month to you, too. I think that you should join in on the celebration of white people.
Yeah.
All right, man. Take care. Bye. Alex, out of San Antonio, Texas. How are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you, James?
Doing fine. Thank you. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, you too. So I was just calling because I remember I heard you talking on Jesse's show that you played soccer before.
Yeah.
Do you watch much of it?
No, I never watched soccer. Never.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to bring this up because apparently the U.S. women's team is good.
Nice.
Women's soccer is basically like watching high school kids play. But they keep winning these World Cups.
Yeah.
And I saw a commercial the other day where they're talking.
Are you there?
You want to be the...
Yeah.
Hello?
Okay, go for it.
Can you... Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're cutting out, Alex.
The best women's team ever.
Alex, you're cutting out, man. You're going in and out. I'm gonna have the screener check on you. Sorry, Alex, but let me get to this. Let me get to this point. Tommy Robinson, who is a UK activist, British guy. He's seeking political asylum, according to Drudge and what else? According to the Infowars.com. So they call him a political prisoner, which I think is a fair statement. Infowars.com calls him a political prisoner because they don't have free speech in the UK. You cannot speak freely. So he feels like he's 2 days away from getting assassinated because there's a lot of Muslims who are not just throwing milkshakes at people that they call fascists because, they like to come into the country and then bully the nice whites and put down anybody who disagrees with them. And so do the SJWs. That's why most Muslims are liberals. So now the Russian government said the oppression of citizens due to their opinions is not acceptable in any state. And that's according to the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Russia. That's right. Russia is standing up for free speech more so than the UK or basically any of these European countries. So ridiculous, right? A former communist country, or maybe it still is communist. And that's why I said that it's like ridiculous, because I've heard of journalists being, murdered and stuff by Putin or, the KGB, stuff like that. Well, now Russia is standing up for the free speech of a British citizen in Britain because Russia is not for a whole lot of Muslims coming into their country. They don't want to get attacked, and they don't want all these people coming in and promoting homosexuality and all kinds of madness. So I said that it was ridiculous that Russia was standing up for free speech because they haven't historically done that. But Bible Go-To guy texted me, and he said about Russia standing up for free speech, it is not laughable. It is a great thing that they said that. It is like the Declaration of Independence saying all men are created equal when they own slaves. Get it? It's like the president of Planned Parenthood saying conception begins at birth. I think he's meant life begins at conception. It is a momentous occasion in Russia when words like that are spoken by the Russian government. That's a good point. I hope they really mean it. It would be nice to have two countries standing up for what's right. America, under the Great White Hope, President Trump, during White History Month, and Vladimir Putin. I don't know if Vladimir Putin is for this, but his Ministry of Foreign Affairs said it, so that's nice. What a shame, though. Let me get back to Alex, see if you're better. Alex, San Antonio.
Okay, is this better, James?
Yeah, so far, you just cut in and out unexpectedly at random times.
Okay.
So anyways.
I'm sitting next to my router now, so I think the connection should be better.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you were talking about this women's soccer stuff and how they're winning, and it's like watching high schoolers play. And
yeah. They're slower. They're less skilled than the men.
Yeah.
And they put out this commercial saying, we don't only want to be the best women's team, which fair enough they are. We want to be the best men's team. And I just wanted to point out this delusion that feminists have.
Yeah.
Because if they win against the best men's team, they would lose like 10-0. It would just be a blowout.
Wow. Yeah. Unless the men went easy on them.
Feminists saying this kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. And what's even worse is they have a lesbian on their team who's very, good soccer player, but a horrible person. And worse than just being an out-and-out lesbian.
Right?
Yeah, she has that whatever color hair, short hair, and she has a wife or a partner, meaning she's like out and out. And on top of that, even worse than that maybe, same as that, every bit as bad, is she's promoting the lie of so-called police brutality and racism. She was kneeling just like Colin Kaepernick was lying to the black kids that that blacks are victims of police when it's the other way around. And so she's promoting the false notion that cops are murdering blacks when it's the other way around. Shameful, huh?
I can't say I'm surprised. But I actually saw another video of her where some so-called journalist from one of those liberal magazines was asking her questions. And he's asking her, are you looking forward to going to the White House? And she's like, I'm not going to the effing White House.
Yeah, I saw that too.
They're not going to invite us.
I did see that. And then Trump actually invited them, win or lose, to the White House. And then because Trump is such a classy man, President Donald Trump. I have this habit of saying Trump, and then somebody commented on my comment section that I should say President Trump to give proper respect. And I'm not meaning any disrespect. It's just a habit that I have. I probably have a lot of habits that I got to get better about. But anyways, President Trump, being a classy gentleman that he is, and president, congratulated these people, congratulated the team for winning and stuff like that. Said, we're proud of you. And so that's nice, but these people are unclassy people. Trump haters, never classy.
Is it nice to be classy to unclassy people?
Yeah, in certain instances, yes. I like how Trump does it because he's not afraid to fight back, and yet he's also not ashamed to be classy towards people. You'll notice that Trump's classiness is not weakness. He's not a pushover, generally. Occasionally, you might see him slip just slightly, but maybe that's a misjudgment on my part.
To go to the White House?
Say that again?
Do you know if they accepted his invitation?
I do not know. I think that's still I think they're going to decide as a team what to do. It's so ridiculous that it's even a question whether they should go to the White House. It's so silly.
I know, this is a national team.
Yeah, these basketball players
show this kind of disrespect to the country.
Yeah. You know which basketball team was that? The Golden State Warriors or something like that? I don't know, but some of these people, there's one guy that's mixed race, and he's supposed to be a Christian, a basketball player. I think his name is Stephen Curry, and he's like really good, right?
Him, yeah.
But he's like, he loves Trump, but loves Obama, but hates Trump. He and Obama looked almost, there's just two beta males. Yeah, he's a good athlete, but inwardly, he's a beta male. And so is Obama. So they looked almost, it didn't look right. It did not look right.
You're a beta male.
Seeing them together like that. They took a whole photo. They took a whole photo op together. And it was.
With Obama?
Yeah, Obama and Steph Curry. And I haven't been able to look at Steph Curry the same anymore because I used to think well of him. I thought he was, a well-behaved, good guy. But no, he may be generally well-behaved, but he falls for the Black Lives Matter crap, just like all the rest, LeBron James and all them. It's shameful that all these professional sports have no loyalty to America the way that Trump does. And so they hate Trump just like they hate America. It's a shame.
I know, and even the white athletes, they won't even stand up and say that even if some of them do like Trump, they won't say it publicly.
Yeah. Cowardice. Beta people. Beta athletes. Yep. I appreciate it, Alex. Nice to hear from you, man.
Yeah, you too. Have a good one, James.
All right, you too. Take care. All right, guys. So Facebook is indeed censoring our videos. They don't like the truth being told. They're just like Amazon-owned Twitch, apparently. Amazon-owned Twitch is just off the deep end ridiculous with their censorship. They banned Jesse like that. Well, he's going to come back in the 22nd, I believe, of this month, Jesse, on Twitch. And then hopefully we'll just stream church services, and we'll see how long that lasts. And we're expanding onto other platforms. Look for Jesse Lee Peterson on Parler now. Parler. Google it, and then Google that, and then you'll find Jesse Lee Peterson. Sign up on that. It's a nice new platform. Also Jesse's on gab.com/Jesse Lee Peterson, and minds.com/Jesse Lee Peterson, and bitshoot.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Bunch of platforms. Some of them are better than others as far as supporting free speech and truth speech. Not so with some of these big companies, but I'm still grateful to these companies because we've been able to reach a lot of people like you. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you tomorrow on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show and on the Hake Report, thehakereport.com. I have blog posts there too. All right, guys, bye.